At first, it seemed insignificant, just a faint streak across a digital image, a blip in the data. But what followed shook astronomers to their core. An unknown object had slipped into our solar system, moving at a velocity no asteroid or comet should possess. Its speed exceeded 61 kilometers per second, faster than anything naturally bound by our star. Stranger still, its trajectory didn't match the chaotic angles typical of interstellar debris. Instead, it followed a razor-thin course along the solar system's planetary plane, as if plotted with intent. This was the object that would come to be known as 3I Atlas. Unlike comets, it bore no glowing tail of vaporized dust. Unlike Oumuamua, the first interstellar traveler identified in 2017, it didn't tumble aimlessly or rely on sunlight for acceleration. Its path was smooth, its orientation steady, its presence unsettlingly deliberate. And most disturbing of all, it came from the same patch of sky as the famous "wow" signal of 1977, a radio burst that still defies explanation. As instruments locked on, the anomalies multiplied. The James Webb Space Telescope detected a peculiar mix of gases trailing behind, pure nickel without iron, an unnatural separation that chemistry alone couldn't explain. Bursts of cyanide appeared in spikes far too rapid for simple heating by the sun. And then came the light, luminosity too bright for its measured size, suggesting it wasn't just reflecting the sun's rays but possibly generating its own glow. Thermal scans deepened the mystery. Instead of a simple day-night temperature split, the object radiated from two fixed hot zones, exactly the kind of signature we see in spacecraft with internal power sources. Some began to whisper the unthinkable. What if this was not a comet at all, but a probe? Then came the signal. Hidden in the spectral noise was a faint but repeating pulse, mathematical, structured, and eerily reminiscent of the same frequency band as the old wow signal. At first it was dismissed as interference, but Webb's data showed the same pattern again and again. It wasn't random. Something was transmitting. Machine learning systems trained on decades of radio astronomy soon uncovered something more chilling. The signal contained self-correcting structures like digital code. It even seemed to adapt when noise was introduced. Some scientists dared to ask the question others avoided. Were we intercepting not just a transmission, but software? The implications spread fast. If Oumuamua was the unexplained warning shot, then 3I Atlas could be the follow-up, something far more advanced, still active, and perhaps even aware. Its course was suspiciously careful, avoiding Earth entirely while sweeping close to Mars, as if it wanted to study the solar system without direct confrontation. And the timing was uncanny. Humanity had just launched its most powerful eye into the cosmos, the James Webb Telescope, when this second messenger appeared. Was it coincidence or a test? Some began to wonder if this wasn't contact at all, but observation. A mirror held up to us, waiting to see how we would react. Behind the scenes, governments tightened control. Public data streams once openly available began to vanish. Researchers spoke quietly of cancelled conferences, retracted papers, and unexplained restrictions. The silence wasn't only in space anymore, it had reached Earth. Yet the unanswered questions keep growing. Is 3I Atlas a relic of some ancient engineering? A scout disguised as a comet? A machine transmitting across cosmic distances, or even across layers of reality itself? Some theorists whisper of dimensions colliding, of objects that don't just come from other stars but from other frameworks of physics altogether. For now, all humanity can do is wait and watch. October 2025 is no longer just another date on the calendar, it has become a cosmic countdown. When 3I Atlas swings past Mars, it will offer a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Mars orbiters, equipped with some of the most advanced cameras and spectrographs ever built, will have the chance to capture real data. Images, readings, and perhaps even direct observations of whatever this object truly is. Scientists are preparing for every possibility. If its trajectory shifts in ways gravity alone cannot explain, it will suggest active maneuvering. If its chemical emissions spike or suddenly vanish, it could indicate controlled processes at work. And if the mysterious signal, the structured pulse already detected, grows stronger as it nears Mars, it will force the world to confront a question most have avoided. What if this is not a comet at all? Yet beneath the hope of discovery, there lingers an unsettling possibility. What if the signal was never intended for us? What if its true function is not communication, but reflection? Like a mirror held up to the sky, showing us what we fear, what we expect, and how we respond when faced with the unknown. For centuries, humanity has wondered how first contact would happen. But what if the first test is not contact itself, but how we behave in its shadow? Perhaps 3I Atlas will complete its pass and slip back into the void, vanishing into the same silence from which it came. Perhaps we will be left only with questions, haunted by what might have been. But it is also possible that it will leave behind something far greater than a mystery. It may leave us with the realization that we are not just passive observers of the universe, that we are part of a larger story, one whose rules we barely grasp. Because silence, we now see, may never have been silence at all. For decades, astronomers assumed the cosmos was quiet because no one was speaking. But maybe the truth is different. Maybe the silence has always been waiting, waiting for us to build the instruments powerful enough to listen, waiting for us to develop the intelligence to notice a pattern, waiting for us to be curious enough to look twice instead of turning away. If that is the case, then this is not just about a lone interstellar visitor. It is about humanity's readiness to see itself against the backdrop of a vast and ancient cosmos. 3I Atlas may be a machine, a relic, a message, or something stranger still. But its greatest impact may not lie in what it is, but in how it changes us. Because once we believe we are no longer alone, everything shifts, our science, our faith, our fears, our future. And so the world waits. Telescopes stay trained on a point of light that grows brighter every night. Theories multiply, governments whisper, and people everywhere wonder what October will bring. A rock? A probe? A signal? Or a mirror showing us that the real test of intelligence is not how we find life in the universe, but how we face the possibility that life has already found us. Because maybe, just maybe, the story of 3I Atlas isn't about what it is at all. Maybe it's about us, what we choose to see, what we dare to believe, and what kind of civilization we are becoming in the eyes of the universe.